Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I wanted to focus on gift ideas, specifically brush sets. It seems like a lot of brush sets come out around the holidays. If you really start looking around, so many different things to choose from. One brand alone, Ecotools, granted brushes are kind of their thing, but they put out a lot this holiday season. So I've been going through different sets from different brands, and I wanted to bring you what I think are the top ones. I found 4 that I thought were really good, really affordable options here, and I can see why people might see brushes as a more easily giftable thing maybe than makeup. You don't really have to worry about colors or finishes. You know, a brush is a brush, and hopefully if you choose a good quality brush, it'll be something anybody could use. And I love a good brush set. I really get a kick out of trying different ones and seeing if, you know, this one can pull off the full look, or like how good is it. It's my wheelhouse. I love it. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. And a lot of these were more cutely packaged, and I've kind of broken them down into their core pieces. So I'll include pictures of what it actually looks like if you were to buy this, but the first one I'm going to talk about is the Ecotools Cozy Glow set, and it's $14.99, and I've used this a couple times recently in videos, and the little tin that you get is actually kind of cool. It has a mirror on the inside, and basically what this is a double-ended brush set, and I consider both to be sort of complexion-related tasks. Something I really liked about this, and what stood out to me as potentially awesome when I first laid eyes on it, is this end right here. It reminds me so much of that Sephora Pro Mini Flawless airbrush that I use all the time. I just love the size and shape of this brush, and mine's red because I got it as part of like a Rouge perk thing. But you can buy a Pro Mini Flawless airbrush. I link to it all the time under the videos where I use it. But just the size and shape, I could tell that this was going to be a really good dupe type brush for that. And it's labeled as complexion buffer, and so this is really good for foundation, concealer. That's the exact way I use the Pro Mini Flawless airbrush. You know, I might blend in my foundation, and then I can real quickly dab over concealer. On the opposite end, there's a brush labeled Full Shadow, and I could see why that might be a good shadow brush. It's a little bit tapered up toward the center there and could maybe hit some crevices. I will oftentimes just flip this over and use this for concealer. I've also smoothed out some eye primer with it. I've used a couple different kinds of like eye priming steps lately, and it's really nice to do that. Then your other brush has an angled foundation side and also a full concealer side. This is probably my favorite thing for concealer right here. There's no pinched in quality to the ferrule there. It's nice and round, it's plenty full, but it is still gonna hit that innermost corner of the eye very easily, around the nose, any small areas. And with Ecotools brushes, I have no complaints on quality. I love how soft they are, just across the board. I think they're a great product. But this angled foundation brush, this has a little bit of taper down the side, so it's not just a blunt cut, and it does have that little bit of an angle. And if you ever use Tarte Shape Tape or, I don't know, any more liquidy kind of full coverage concealer like that, I love making sure I get those concealers right up to my lower lash line, and I'll sometimes pull in a flat foundation brush to do that. I think a flat foundation brush and Shape Tape are like best friends, and this sort of operates like a flat foundation brush, except I think even more useful because it comes to this little bit of a point here, and so it's really great if you want to take that concealer right up to the lower lash line, you know? So I think of this as a more targeted concealer application, buffing in your concealer. You could also use this for concealer if you wanted to, or make it sort of a quick all-in-one, one shadow look type brush, and then this is so nice for your foundation, your BB cream, whatever. That complexion buffer, I'm so glad that was in here. So I think this is a super handy duo for face steps, and it comes again with the little tin. I think it's a nice, easy, non-intimidating brush set. You know, you could find some brush sets that have like, I don't know, 55 brushes in them, and they're just gonna do everything under the sun, each one with a specific purpose. These are kind of neat because you really can't go wrong with them. You can figure out for yourself which end works right for which step of your makeup, and it's just simple. Here's one other Ecotools set that I would recommend, and again, I had God knows how many sets to go through and try and kind of get a feel for, and I picked 2 that were absolute favorites. So the Cozy Glow one, and then this one is called the Winter Wonder Travel Kit, and it's also $14.99. It comes in this little bronze tin here. It does not have a mirror on the inside, but you're getting 4 brushes that I would call travel size in terms of the length, but generously sized as far as the brush heads themselves go. In a pinch, this could be a full face for me. It could be a quick travel touch-up set, a nice little on-the-go thing. Here's what I think each brush is good for. The Precision Powder. It's a nice full brush cut at an angle, and I think this is great for just powder application all over. It's plenty big enough. It could do a little contour for you very easily. It can apply your blush. It can also apply your highlight. When you've got this size of brush head and it's not like blunt cut or anything, if all you want is a little bit of highlight, just dip that tip of the brush down into your highlight, only get product there, and then you can easily use that just as though it was a smaller highlight brush. So I love this thing. This controlled setting brush, brilliant size here. A couple ways this could work could be under eye setting powder. It's absolutely ideal for that. It's also very similar in size to my Moda Highlight and Glow brush, so a great highlighter step there. There's something here called angled crease, and it's a really nice size. I love the cut of this thing. This could be a quick one shadow look type brush. I think you could stamp some shadow right on your lid and then actually use that angled part, stick the angle down in your crease and just buff back and forth, and you've got a quick crease color. Another separate way this could be used is for concealer, dabbing it around the eyes, around the nose. It can handle that too. And then you're getting a really small brush called Accent Shadow. A person with small eyes, this could potentially be a godsend type brush for, because it's not too big for the lid. You can see about how much room it takes up in terms of my lid. This could easily pack shadow on for me, go around the inner corner. It could do triple duty as a smudger brush, absolutely. There's just enough movement to those bristles that it could also sort of work something into your outer corner. So do you see why this is such a useful set? I think a quality of a great travel brush set is something that can give you minimal stuff, but multiple functions for each. You probably wouldn't just like pop this tin in your purse. You might use the tin for something else and maybe just find a small makeup bag to keep these in, but I love the set. So we've gone through a very complexion, face focused set. We had our little travel set. Now I want to mention something that's pretty much the whole shebang, and it's from e.l.f. It's an 8-piece brush set here, and I love what's happening. I've found some old faves in this kit. I've rediscovered a brush or two in here. This is the way it comes. It's going to be $20, and you're getting all full-size brushes, and they're actually brushes that are made in their line. So they've got an ultimate blending brush here, which is one of these really nice, dense brushes. It's great for buffing in a liquid foundation. I think you could also use this pretty effectively with a mineral foundation as well. Small stipple brush, baby. I used this today with some cream blush. Great for cream blushes, cream highlighters. It gives you the softest application, doesn't mess up your foundation you've got going on underneath. My small stipple brush I've had for years, so it was refreshing to see that there's a new one in this kit and it works just fine. Skipping over to this other end, there's a blush brush, and this is something that I don't know how it got past me. I've used a lot of e.l.f. brushes over the years, but I haven't really spent a lot of time with their blush brush, and this is such a nice size. Perfect size and density. I'm going to be using this a ton for blush going forward. It could also be a great highlighter brush. It's just not oversized and really, really soft. Then you are getting something labeled concealer brush. It's one of those just really flat looking brushes, which I actually used for eyeshadow today. Loved it for eyeshadow. Just as far as a flat brush goes, packing stuff on the lid, the way I use that Sigma E60 so often, this is great. Sorry, not really going in order here. They've got the eyeshadow C brush, which is a little bit thicker, and it's again good for the lid, but also really effective at wedging straight up into the crease. It's got some thickness and some fluff to it, so it's almost like an application slash blender type brush in one. You could do a little blending with that. They're giving you a small angled brush, which is perfectly cut and would be just great for hitting that lower lash line with a little bit of shadow there. And I'm really enjoying this one called Contour Brush, and this is kind of like a not too oversized crease brush. I used it today, getting color in my outer corner, also going above it a little bit. I put my E25 and my E40 on my kind of larger, fluffier end, and then, you know, that Morphe or MUA small crease brush that I use, that would be on my smaller end. This is kind of right in the middle of all that stuff. So it does perform really, really well. It's just a unique size for my collection. And then there's also an eyebrow duo brush, which is another angled side here, so that could work well for your brow pomades, brow powders, and then a spoolie on the other end. So that's the extent of that kit, and I think it's a lot of really good stuff happening all in one. If there is one thing I could say here, I would give a person an e.l.f. complexion brush along with this kit. So that's this brush here. It's just a little bit larger size brush just for all over powder, bronzer. I think this is so good for blush and so not oversized. So I'm really glad that that blush brush is in there. But if I could use one more thing, it would be this. Possibly also, if we're getting really picky, maybe a fluffy eye brush, like just a E40 style, more fluffy blending brush. So I think this is a fantastic kit. It gives a person a lot to go on. There's so much in here that I really like, but for my own preferences, like I said, if I could add in a complexion brush and a fluffy eye blending brush, I would be completely set. Now the last thing I will mention here is an eye focused kit, and it's from Sigma. It's called the All Eyes Mini Brush Set, and this is $19. So you're getting shorter brushes and I think a little bit smaller brush heads. I've used all of these, and the one that I'm most familiar with, the one that I use most in full size, is the E25, and this is just a little smaller than my usual E25, but it's still great. Like, I love this. You're getting that brush, which I love to set up the crease with. This black one, which kind of resembles an E40, is actually called an E38 diffused crease, but it operates a lot in the way I would use that, like maybe pop a little highlight in here, just use it to blend out your look. So you've got crease and blending with those steps, and then there's an E55 eye shading brush, which is absolutely great for just packing shadow on the lid. It's got a little taper down the side, so it's going to be great for dabbing down into your shadow, picking it up all along the side of the brush, and then using it to pat it on the lid. Last two brushes here, you're getting a flat definer brush, an E15, which is not something I use too often, but I do see a lot of other people reaching for this. You can use that to very quickly get shadow along your lower lash line, or your upper lash line for that matter, kind of using shadow as liner. And then if you are into a cream or gel liner, this E11 is absolutely fantastic. It's so fine. The tip that it comes to is totally perfect. And the other day I was busting out a MAC fluid line that I had, and I used this with it, and I just thought, oh, this is a nice experience, you know? And the shortness of these brushes does not bother me one bit. That might be something some people are really like, I need the full-size brush, but I like that these are hot pink. I think they're really good quality. Like I said, I noticed this E25 being a little smaller in terms of the brush bristles than my current E25, but it still totally got the job done. So if you're wondering, Em, could you do a full eye look with this set? Absolutely. Wouldn't need to pull in anything else. And in terms of everything I've been using here, I do think a good everything you need eye brush set is probably the hardest to find, or the hardest thing to please me personally with. But each one of these, 20 bucks or less. Love the e.l.f. set for your all-around full face, Sigma eye brushes, the Ecotools little travel set, so super handy. Each brush in there can perform several functions. And then if you really love brushes for the application of foundations and concealers, I think you'll get a kick out of this set. So I hope this was useful, my friends. Thank you so much for taking time to hang out with me today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.